Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast, and there have been some tough ones over the last couple of years. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, Sarah run the ones and twos, Jared Wyllys to join us from Wrigley Field. There have been some tough losses on the CHGO Cubs podcast. This one
some tough losses
might take the cake. There will be no beer bat chug. There will be no celebrating. There will be a lot of anger in the live YouTube chat, which is the best way to enjoy the CHGO experience. Giants beat the Cubs 7-6. Cubs finally get some home runs. Finally look like they've gotten enough to win a game. And back comes the bullpen again. The other glaring problem for this team. There's the offense, there's the bullpen. There's the offense, there's the bullpen. And oh, don't forget it. There's all the other stuff they don't do well. There's the catcher's interference. There's the walks. There's getting thrown out on the base. All of it factors into a loss like this. This one, Cody, the Cubs fall to 34-39. As Megan Montemurro tweeted after the game, only two teams in the National League have lost more games this season than your last place Chicago Cubs.
I say this a lot on social media, Luke. I'm laughing a little bit because I'm just like, I've been so numb.
Right.
That like
this is your new reaction.
Like I'm not even like mad, to be honest with you. I'm just whatever. Like this is where I'm at. But what I always say on social media is God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And boy, oh boy, if you are still watching this team on a nightly basis, you are one strong soldier, my friend, because I don't know, man.
Either that or you're crazy like the rest of us.
Yeah, you're a real
like
sicko.
The rest of the sickos that are
you're
in this
a real
chat.
sicko if you're watching this team still, man. Like,
Jim Barista says our Discord's on fire right now for the diehards. I bet it is.
I'm sure it is.
Literally on fire.
And it makes sense. And I'm saying that I'm not even angry, and like that's not true. Like deep down I'm angry, and when I get off the show and when I go home, get on my electric bike and ride 6.5 miles
sweat
back to Uptown and go into my apartment by myself, I'm gonna lay in my bed at some point and I'm gonna stare at the ceiling and just ask myself, why in the world do I let this team ruin my life like this on a nightly basis? But I won't explain that because we all know why we do it, because we're a bunch of sickos. But yeah, man, it's like we always say, or I've said it a handful of times, if it's not one thing, it's another. I know that I've defended the bullpen a little bit more than anyone else, whether it's on the show or on social media. But tonight is all on the bullpen. It's disappointing because the bullpen was good over the weekend. You gave up 6 runs to the Cardinals over the weekend, but your offense stunk. Tonight, wind's blowing out. You finally take advantage of the conditions and you hit some homers. Of course, it was kind of middle of the innings late. You had some chances early to maybe tack on some more runs, but
they did.
But scoring 6 runs and taking a 3-run lead off an Ian Happ 3-run homer that electrified Wrigley Field the way that it did. He hits that homer on Waveland. You're up by 3 runs. You needed to get 6 outs. You're up by 3 runs. Like it's one of those things that, like, I know there's no one that's going to probably be any better than Hector Neris, but it's insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over. Like, he has a walk problem. I know Amaya with the catcher's interference that set it all up, but then he walked a guy. He walks a guy every game, man. And
never nervous Neris.
Yeah.
Heart attack Hector.
Yeah. So I don't really know what the answer is. There probably is no answer, and that's another thing that I can go into my tangent about the front office. But I just don't understand why Craig hasn't tried someone else. I know Tyson Miller pitched the last 2 innings of that 5-1 game against the Cardinals. That was on Saturday.
I'm ready for it.
Again, that was Saturday, so I don't know if he was even available tonight. But, I think we're all at a point where we want to see someone else blow it at least. Like, it's at a point where, like, we know that Neris isn't, like, he was getting so lucky in so many other outings that, like, you knew that regression was going to come, or, like, that some of this luck wasn't going to work out for him, and that's just what it is. It's inexcusable that only 2 teams in the National League have less wins,
more losses
than the Cubs. But I mean, somehow, some way,
they've been the worst team in the National League, one of the worst teams in baseball since the end of April.
Yeah, and the point, what I was getting ready to say is, like, despite all this, you're somehow still in that wild card race, even though all those other teams are ahead of you. But the thing is everyone's record's so close. A 3, 4, 5 game winning streak here or there, like, you can find yourself in that last spot. But, like, I don't even, no one wants to think about that right now. No one wants to have that optimism. No one believes in that optimism because of everything that you said, man. Like, they can't even get 2 of the 3 facets of the game. Or even on nights like tonight, I guess they did. They did get okay starting pitching from Assad, and then the offense did show up, but the bullpen just completely, looks like it did in April again. They haven't had games like this, like bad games like this in a while, but, like, this is a game you can't blow. You're up 3 runs. You need to get 6 outs. You're up 3 runs. Leiter looked good in that 8th inning for 2 outs. Then he gives up the solo shot, which at least it's a solo shot. But again, like, we know what Neris has been, and it's almost like if he doesn't at least have a 3-run lead, you don't feel safe. And it just can't be that way in the 9th inning, man. It just can't. This team would be well over 500 if they hadn't blown some games. And I know I've said in the past that, like, these things kind of even out by the end of the year, and I guess maybe it still could. But, like, I mean, the Cubs are in top 2, top 3 in most blown saves, blown games, whatever. Technically blown saves, because it's not always the 9th inning when you're blowing a save. Like, Leiter blew one the other day. This is
officially their 16th blown save, second most in the majors.
Right. So it's just
a lot of games.
Yeah,
that's a lot of games.
And I've been listening to a lot of the guys on ESPN 1000 or The Score, and they've all said something along the lines of, like, you knew ALLCITY wasn't going to be able to be the closer, this, that, and whatever. And, like, I think we all agree with that in some aspects of, we never thought he was going to be the closer of the future, but there was no reason to not at least have some optimism going into the season. And so my point on that is the fact that not only was he not good, but then also the fact that he got hurt. In the grand scheme, he gave you absolutely nothing this year to this point. And he's probably not going to give you anything because we just continue to not get an update on him. Not that he's going to change anything in this bullpen, but the thing again, it's just the fact that they haven't tried something else different. They were up 4 runs on Saturday, so Counsell let Tyson Miller pitch the last 2 innings. But, like, other than that, they go to Neris in the 9th inning every time. And at the end of the day, it's on Jed, man. Like, he's the one. He's the one who put the bullpen together. You have all these young arms in the minor leagues, and we've only really seen Luke Little, Porter Hodge a little bit. Like, Ben Brown is the guy that we've talked about, but of course he's hurt. And I've said many times that I think Assad would be better in the bullpen, and I've gotten a lot of criticism for saying that. I say that he could be a better weapon in the bullpen, but because Hendricks hasn't been good out of the rotation,
and Wicks is hurt again,
he's in the rotation, and it's just all I can do is put my hands up and say why. Like, why didn't we just, at least get someone more proven in the 9th inning, I guess, or add more proven relief help? I don't know. It doesn't help that 2 of your best relievers are hurt too, with Merriweather and Almonte being out, but every team has injuries, man. And I just
I've seen
it can
people,
only be an excuse for so long.
Yes.
You know? So again, like I said, I know I've defended the bullpen a lot more, especially since May 1st, because our offense has been so bad. But whenever you put up 6 runs and you take a 3-run lead in the 9th or in the 8th or 7th inning, whatever inning it was when Ian Happ hit the homer, you can't blow the game, man. This game could have been maybe a turning point of the season. That was one of the best moments of the year at Wrigley when Happ hit that homer
from the right side.
From the right side. That was one of the best moments. That could have been something we're talking about for games ahead or down the road whenever they turn it around.
They took advantage of the Cubby occurrence.
Yeah.
A pop-up in the infield that 2 guys just watched drop.
Yeah.
They took advantage of it finally for once.
Right.
Instead, you were forced to watch this.
So, yeah.
With your eyes uncovered.
There's nothing I can say to make you all feel better. I know that. So I don't know what else to say about the closer spot.
Everybody not everybody, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of people on Twitter saying, well, you guys have been protecting the bullpen. No. What we've been saying for the last month and a half or months now is both are true at the same time. The offense is a massive problem. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily tonight, but there were still problems with it. The offense is a massive problem, and the bullpen is a massive problem. By the way, base running and defense have been pretty big problems too. Right. It's only starting pitching that you can look at and say they do that well.
On a more consistent basis.
On a consistent basis, the only thing they've done well all season is starting pitching, and they got that again tonight. But again, you had Wisniewski comes in, he walks 4 guys. Yep. You can't walk 4 guys.
And he gave up a
Neris,
homer.
And he gave up a homer. Leiter came in. He hasn't been as good recently. He gave up a homer.
He got out of that
He also
inning
hit
before,
a guy. He also hit a guy, whether it was legit or not. He hit a guy.
Yeah.
So that's another small play. You had Morrell not make a play that could have potentially been a double play.
He got an out, but he didn't get the double play.
He didn't get a double play,
which led to the rest of that inning happening. Yeah.
So there's another thing. Then you have I don't know who else to put in. Like you said, maybe it's Miller. I don't think the guy's on the team, but I'll tell you what, I've seen enough of this team right now that you guys want to say, go get Miller, go get this guy. If I'm the Cubs right now and this way this is going, we're going to hear from Jed Hoyer what he said, by the way, earlier tonight before the game, coming up later in this show. Ryan got that at the ballpark, but what are they adding for?
Yeah, there's no reason.
Only 2 teams in the National League have more losses than the Cubs. What would they possibly be adding for? To save jobs?
At least right now.
A
lot of things would have to change here over the next month
I've been a huge proponent of, listen, you can't keep all the prospects. Trade them and get some real major league players that are proven and ready for it. Go ahead and do it. Don't be afraid. Trust your gut. Hope it's the right guys. Make the moves. That's why you have a farm system. But right now, I wouldn't trade too many guys on the farm system to try and put a Band-Aid over a bucket that's got 4 or 5 leaky holes in it. Why? Well, it's starting to look more and more like the worst thing that happened was the Tauchman catch last year that made them think that they were buyers. Because I'm not sure they were or should have been. But that's the way it went, and here we are sort of with the same team. Now, a lot of people are talking about what in the live YouTube chat, which is the great way to experience what we do. It's angry. So is Discord for all the diehards out there. We'll get to all that in a second. Like I said, we're going to hear from Jed Hoyer earlier today. Hopefully, Jared's going to join us and tell us everything that was said by counsel and everybody else after the game. Just a devastating loss for the Cubs. Just a complete gut punch and more of the same old stuff over and over. And here's the deal. When your team stinks, you don't have to.
You don't have to stink.
When your team stinks, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Mando, whole body deodorant will have you smelling great all summer long. Mando's array of odor-controlling solutions ensures you'll be fresh from head to toe. The solid stick and invisible cream tube control odor for 72 hours but you can start odor control in the shower with a 4-in-1 cleansing bar and acidified body wash, which helps stop odor before it can even start. The best part is they can all fit in your carry-on. All the liquids in the starter pack are under 3.4 ounces, and with the deodorant wipes, you can freshen up on the go. Seriously, all I need is clean underwear and Mando. I'm set for any adventure, so whenever your summer is ready to take you on an adventure, make sure Mando is part of your travel essentials. You know, Friday 120 Club, Joey was on one side. The guy on the other side could have used some Mando. That's all I'm going to tell you. He could have used some Mando. Unique aspects of Mando. Here's what it is. Mando's seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, packages, that's the grundle and balls, belly button, butt crack, stinky crevices, stomach folds, oh my, and feet. It's aluminum free, baking soda free, cruelty free, dye free, and it is vegan, proven to control odor better than even a shower and soap alone. Can you believe that? Mando Starter Pack is perfect for our new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Discount code to help get you hooked on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code CHGO. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code CHGO at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Link in the description. Your team can stink, but you don't have to.
You don't have to stink, and you also don't have to feel the pain either. All you got to do is make a stop at Sunnyside because they just make everyone feel great all the time. Doesn't matter. I might make a stop at Sunnyside on my way home. It's just the pound on the door and see if they'll let me in. All right. I doubt they will, but I might try, considering how bad this loss was. Our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection, over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup wherever you are in Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you. Spots as far as south in Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the nearest store, the store nearest you, for expert guidance from their staff, or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florcal. Mindy Siegel's award-winning chocolates at Sunnyside is one of my favorites. You can get those there just by going to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO, CHGO, at checkout for 35% off brands like Cresco, Good News, and more. To elevate your first purchase, Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
430 angry Cubs fans in a therapy session along with us. Doesn't even count all of those in the Discord.
We got 7 super chats. We got 66 likes and almost 500 people watch it. Can y'all at least hit the like button for us? I appreciate it.
Yeah, we don't stink.
We're using Mando. We love Sunnyside.
Almost 100 degrees outside. Broke a high. Broke the record high.
I was definitely sweating.
Had the Mando on everywhere. Covered my body in Mando.
Shout out to Mando.
All right, let's do all the super chats, and then we're going to get to our pork power. Sir Silent of the Fog's first $2 super chat. Somebody give Cody something to break. That's the Bull Show.
I don't have any hats to throw. I guess I could throw my own hat.
The Westland Eagle super chat, $5, says Patrick Wisdom is the GOAT. Mo says super chat for $5. I called it. They will find ways to take themselves out of the running. They'll be sellers. Happ, Morrell, Tyone, go. Hoyer should be fired. Brandon Johnson, I don't believe that's the mayor, said no, for $4.99, counsel on removing Neris from the closer role. I wouldn't anticipate doing that.
That's what he must have said post-game.
All right. Mo with another super chat for $5. I'm sorry, if they buy and get rid of their prospects and not make the playoffs, it'll be a bigger failure than selling pieces. This team isn't good. I agree with you there, Mo. Yeah. John says for $1.99, another super chat, give Tyson Miller a chance to close at this point. That's what Cody said. I agree with that too.
I just want someone else in general.
Ben with a $4.99 super chat. Ricketts family ruins everything. State governments, baseball teams fire Jed and Neris into the moon and never come back. Seems a little harsh, but okay. Steven for $5, the super chat. It's time we seriously discuss firing Jed. I don't want to hear him talk anymore. All talk, no action. The man is incompetent. End quote.
Thank
you for all the super chats. Like I
Can
said,
you bring those back up, Sarah? I would like to respond to.
You want to respond to one of those real quick?
Like, I mean, as far as Brandon Johnson's that said, counsel quoting, and I'm sure Jared will bring this up a little bit, but saying I wouldn't anticipate doing that in terms of removing Neris from the closer role. It's just like it's not even just this particular problem, but this has been a thing within the organization the last couple years. Like, I don't think this is a council thing. This is the front office telling them or something. Like, that's what I'm convinced, because they've been doing this for multiple years, man. It's insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over. Neris has been awful. He walks too many guys, and like he does. There's no reason he should be closing games.
Hey, you know who we can't blame this one on? Jose Cuas.
That's true. I know, like, I understand it's a really tough situation for Craig. So I can't blame Craig for all of it. Maybe he does have say in who's coming in this closer spot. Maybe he does. He is the manager. He's the one calling people to come in, right? But based off the history of the last couple years, whether it's not calling guys up and being aggressive with some of your prospects, or whether it's just, hitting Ian Happ third for way too fucking long, or just all these little things where it just like they won't change anything up ever. How can I look at the manager and say that that's on him whenever it's been happening before he was the manager? So that's my point on that. Maybe it is Craig. And at the same time, it's not like we have any better options. So like whatever. But like, that's why I'm obviously pissed about the ending, but I'm also just not surprised either.
Well,
so
A, it is why he gets paid the big bucks.
Right.
B, he doesn't have very good options.
Right.
Both are true. Again, both are true. So I don't know what else to say about it. Yes, he's been given a bullpen that's too thin. Yes, he's got a bullpen that's too thin, partly because of maybe injuries. It's his job to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know who else to put in. What do you want to do? Put Hendricks in there?
Well, he's starting in a couple days.
I mean, what do you want to do? Let Patrick Wisdom close? I don't know.
He's got 0.00
Leiter gave
ERA.
up a home run. People say Wesneski. Wesneski's been giving up homers.
Yeah. Ben Brown would have been the easy choice.
Yes,
but of course he's
Ben
hurt.
Brown would have potentially been the answer for a while, but he's hurt. Okay,
but also it's just. It goes back to what I was saying about not being aggressive with some of your young guys. Like, I'm not even saying Porter Hodge could have been that guy, but, you called Porter Hodge up on my birthday and then you didn't use him for a week. Like, I know Luke Little has massive command problems, so I'm not even really saying that he could do it. All I'm saying, but I have said in the past that, he misses bats. He gets a lot of swing and miss. If he can find a way to find command, maybe he could be the guy. He didn't have it tonight. I'll say that much. That's why Wesneski came into the game earlier, right? But at the end of the day, the fact that they talk all about how they have these young arms in the minors that they're high on and they want to use, and that's why they're not going out and getting an established reliever. Why are you using them? And I understand, especially with Merriweather and Almonte being hurt, I understand, this bullpen would be better if those guys were in there. But, man, like, I don't know how you can throw Neris back out there, man. I really don't.
Ian Happ provided the power for tonight's game, presented by Illinois' pork producers. Savor the flavor, savor the gains, and celebrate any occasion by enjoying the best pork produced by Illinois' pig farmers. It was nice to see Happ homer from the right side. It was nice to see home runs, because we were sitting there after the first home run. I said, well, that's the difference in this, Cody, is they hit a 3-run homer. Mm-hmm. You see what a difference a couple of home runs can make in a game?
Yeah.
When you get it? And we thought maybe that would be enough. But we also knew that the bullpen was going to have to get through more innings because Assad can only go a certain amount. Well, maybe they need more pop. Is that a problem too? Yet the answer is yes. Jed Hoyer was asked before the game about a superstar player. How can a superstar player impact the lineup? And is that the type of fix that you're looking for? This is what he had to say to reporters.
One player won't change the whole offense, but can a superstar bat change the dynamic of an offense when you have talent like this and you add that superstar?
I think theoretically, I think that there's no question that that guy impacts hitters above and below, and I think that yes, in the theoretical, but the trade market's not really open at this point in the summer. At this point, certainly the answers have to come from within. So if the question is theoretical or the actual, we're not going to be able to add that bat today on June 17th.
So would that be a focus a month from now, trying to add that kind of bat?
I think I would say we need to start hitting a lot better. That's, I think that this is, like I said, it's been 46 games. We need to start hitting as a group, and I think the focus on the trade market and that's, I understand it, but I think that the answers have to be on the field for us to get where we need to go.
So don't expect anybody to be walking on Lake Michigan to come in and save this team. Don't expect a superstar player to be traded to the Cubs, just one guy.
Not right now, at least.
Not this season. That's what we're saying. It's going to have to be from within inside. Speaking of inside, we have our guy inside Wrigley Field. His name is Jared Wyllys. He's in for Ryan tonight, who's off playing softball. And Jared, what did Craig Counsell have to say after the game? Because so far, the live YouTube chat doesn't seem too excited about it from the people that have been watching it.
He didn't have much to say. He characterized the go-ahead home run for the Giants as just a fly ball, which I thought was interesting because we've seen some fly balls, but not too many that fly 400 feet like that. So I think what his point was, though, is he went on to say it was the wrong night to have balls in the air, basically. So the bigger issue came before that. He said the only at bat that he really had a problem with was the walk that preceded it from Hector Neris. So no, it kind of feels like we're sort of retreading the same things with this team over the last several weeks. And how many times can you talk about the way that they can't hold a lead, can't score enough runs? It's kind of like pick A or B, problem A or problem B with this team. Is it the bullpen? Is it the offense? Tonight you get the offense going, but then the bullpen can't hold the lead. Other nights it's the opposite.
You're right, Jared. It's like it's a nightmarish choose your own adventure where no matter which adventure you choose, you're losing the game, right?
It's bad either way.
Yeah, no more players left. Game over. You're out of quarters. That's what it feels like at an old arcade. So I was telling Cody, I said, yes, it is the Neris home run. It is all those things. And then it's all those other little things. It's not just the offense. It's not just the bullpen. It's the fact that they get thrown out at the plate at an alarming rate. It's that they get thrown out on the bases at an alarming rate. Jesse Rogers had it. It was tweeting it during the game that they have led Major League Baseball 22, 23, and are leading it again in 24 and getting thrown out at home plate. Now, I'm all for being aggressive, but at some point, it's kind of foolish if you're not going to make it. Like if you don't have the fast enough guys or you're not running at the right speed, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying you can't get thrown out at the plate that much. You can't get thrown out on the base paths. You can't walk four guys if you're Hayden Wesneski. You can't have catcher's interference. All of those things. You got to know that Soler is back deep in the box all the time, and he has a big swing. You have to know those things. And especially when every game seems like something's coming back to bite you. So what was the mood like in the clubhouse? Because obviously the mood on our live chat and the mood in our Discord for the diehards has been pretty close to DFA this guy, DFA that guy, fire this guy, fire that guy, and let's burn down the building. People are not.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. Like for those fans that are watching this day in and day out, seeing what's happening with this team, I fully understand those feelings. And when you go in the clubhouse after a game like this, it's very quiet. These guys it's somber. Like they talk a lot about we just put this one behind us. We move on to the next day, all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't happen right away. You see that in the clubhouse after the game, down there just now, there is a feeling in there of, the frustration is palpable. Now, generally speaking, with, you come back the next day, you do get a different vibe in the clubhouse. So I do think they're pretty good at kind of flushing it, moving on like they say they do. But the problem is you can do that, but there's more that needs to be done. Let's do more than just put the loss behind us. It's what really needs to happen in order to start turning some of these, especially these one-run losses. Luke, like you pointed out, lots of little things that happened tonight that really would have made a big difference if they'd been executed differently. The Patrick Wisdom getting thrown out at third base. A lot of that is on, I know Willie Harris has been asked questions about those kinds of plays in the past, but, that was a shallow fly ball that he sent Patrick Wisdom to try to score on. No offense to Patrick Wisdom, but he's not the fastest guy in your team. So if you're trying to press right there, I don't know that he's the guy to ask to do that. Or Luke, like you pointed out, the catcher's interference. That's little stuff. Like somebody in the dugout needs to be, getting Amaya's attention and telling him to set up a little bit farther back. Like that's stuff that you have to see. And it's just not happening.
Jared, we're going to get to a couple more questions. We want to ask you about Tauchman. We want to ask you about the closer's role. Cody's going to tell us first real quick, if you can stick around, about Circa Sportsbook. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good.
Circa. Well, the good news of tonight was that Michael Bush won me money, so shout out to him with the homer that made me feel something for one moment. That was a good 5 minutes. I love Circa because they got tight money line splits, as Luke likes to really emphasize a lot.
Love tight money line
splits. He loves that, all right? They have some of the best odds on all the sports books you can get here in Illinois. Games strive to be -110 split on their menu, unlike other sports books, which may use -115 or -120 splits. Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books. They don't limit players based on other winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players, and they encourage bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available so they can compare the lines from each sports book. There's real people behind their brand who resolve issues on a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots, which if you've listened to our show, you know how much I hate chatbots. All aspects of Circa's app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They're with us for every Cubs Friday 120 Club, which we had one this past Friday. We have another one this Friday. With the way this team is playing, it might just be an all-out therapy session while we drink a lot of Blue Moon. So come hang out with us in Circa. If you or some of you may know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Some beers can say they're brewed for baseball. Only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball just go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was born in a ballpark. Blue Moon, created at Coors Field in Colorado. It's the natural choice all season long. Man, the hot weather is here. Blistering summertime shy. I say hit me with a Blue Moon to cool off. Nothing beats watching baseball, lounging by the pool, or just trying to stay cool with an ice-cold Blue Moon. Blue Moon, brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the season. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Bring the ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter, celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Joined by our guy Jared Wyllys, who's out at Wrigley Field. He was just in the Cubs clubhouse. He was also in there talking to Craig Counsell after the game. What is the update on Mike Tauchman, and might this possibly lead to finally seeing Alexander Canario getting a shot potentially in the outfield this season.
Yeah, I mean, no significant update beyond what they told us during the game was that it was left groin discomfort, and that, council just kind of reiterated that. So usually what happens with this sort of thing is they will do imaging like the next day to get a sense for just how severe it is. So I would imagine that tomorrow we'll have a little more information on how bad it is, and if there is going to be a move, it's probably going to come tomorrow or maybe Wednesday if they want to give it a day to see how he feels. Did see Mike Tauchman in the clubhouse afterward. He was moving okay, and it looked to me like he was moving a little gingerly. I'll say that, for what that's worth. But I do think tomorrow is when you're really going to have a sense for it. But I think, as any of us knows, when you see a guy get a groin injury, that's a really tough thing to play through. And we've seen it before with guys who, it looks like they're okay. It looks like they've got it behind them, and then it flares up again. In some cases, it can take a long time for this to really fully heal. So to your point, Luke, I think this may be the spot where Tauchman's got to hit the IL, and then we see one of these young guys come up and take one of those outfield spots. Well,
I mean, it was strange because he grabbed for his injury right away. He grabbed the groin. It was, it wasn't like he tried to stretch it first. He instantly, I don't know if I've seen a player that quickly call for the trainer to come out. Like, he knew something was wrong and it wasn't right. So we'll see how that plays out. That would be interesting to see if one of those guys gets that chance. Brendan Davis hasn't played since
the 11th.
So I don't think, if it were to come to that, it doesn't sound like it'd be Brendan Davis. Canario has been hitting bombs at AAA, so maybe this is that opportunity. Okay, how would you fix the closer role? Who would you try next? If you're losing confidence, if you're Craig Counsell, and you're not, but if you were, and you were losing confidence in Neris, where do you go next?
Is it Tyson Miller? Is that the guy you try? The hard thing about this is, like, the honest answer is there's nobody that they currently have that I would feel like the closer's confidence in. Hector Neris is the closest they have to that, but as we've seen, he's not particularly great, or at least, this 2024 Hector Neris isn't. So, but I do think, like, Tyson Miller is probably the guy that you've got to at least think about in that spot. For what it's worth, that came up in the post-game. Counsell was asked about, hey, do you think about Hector Neris maybe not taking these save opportunities? And Counsell didn't give a definitive answer. He said, right now we're still just looking at how to get 27 outs. But I do think, like, the evidence is stacking up that you've got to try something else. Because a night like tonight, when you had, at least going into the ninth, you had a 2-run lead, which should be 99 times out of 100, that should be a safe enough lead. And it's too often this is the situation that the Cubs have been in this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
that sums it up, Cody.
Like, dude, I'm just, like, last year they had this problem too. And then, like, we all felt like ALLCITY deserved an opportunity. And he got put into the opportunity and he excelled. And, like, I don't know, like, obviously there's no one here with experience that proves that it will happen, but ALLCITY didn't have the experience either. So it's like, I'm just asking for someone different. And if it doesn't go well, who cares? We're 5 games under 500 and whatever. Like, we are at a point where I just want something different. It is legitimately insanity, Jared. I don't know what else to say. Like, am I being too dramatic about it? Like, it is the same thing, dude. The same goddamn thing every night. Whether it's Neris blowing the save or getting guys on base and we can't get them in because we're dead last with runners in scoring position since the end of April or whatever. Like we score runs tonight, we still blow the game. Like it's just so like I just don't care anymore. You know what will get me to care is if they just do something different. That would actually show me that they care, is if they did something different. That's legitimately how I feel. And if they did something different and it doesn't work, who cares? We're 5 games under 500 now. It doesn't matter.
Speaking of something different, Jared, what about the idea tomorrow, assuming Tauchman can't play, what about the idea of putting Happ back at leadoff?
That's something that I've wondered about a lot. It's surprised me that he has not spent more time at the top of the order, especially with the way he's been hitting over the last few weeks. And in general, most of the time, you can count on him to give you a quality at bat. I know his strikeouts are up this year, but switch hitter who's generally going to give you a quality at bat is good at getting on base. He checks all these boxes for a leadoff hitter. And I know that when he was hitting leadoff earlier in the season, they had a little more success. So I'm all for it. It surprised me a little bit that we haven't seen that. Maybe with Tauchman out, then that's going to force a change at the top of the order, and that's what happens is you get Happ back at leadoff, or Nico, who's has done well in that spot in the past as well. So we'll see. But like Cody said, there's a point where you can keep saying we trust our guys, we trust what we have here, but you've got to take what you have and do something different with it in order to get different results.
I will say, I haven't been paying too much attention to the chat because there's just so many people. But
it's going by quickly.
I think Gary, one of our diehards, mentioned Hunter. I think it's Big B. I know that he hasn't been at AAA very long, but he misses bats, has high velocity. I don't know what they see in him, but that's where
Ethan Roberts is on the 40-man.
Yeah, they put Ethan Roberts on the 40-man, but his fastball is from my understanding is still not there. So he's on the 40-man. I don't think he's going to be called up yet. But he is a guy that I'm intrigued about. He's a guy that I am excited about. I don't know if I see closer in him. So when we talk about Neris, it's like he doesn't miss bats. He walks guys. Like if you're going to walk guys, you got to miss more bats. And that's just something that Neris hasn't done this year. So I just want someone who can throw gas and fucking strike some guys out. That's the bare minimum. I feel like that can get something done. I know it's not all of it. You have to have the cojones or whatever, but we are at desperate times. Calls for desperate measures, man.
And I think it's worth remembering for anybody who would suggest let's take this guy from AAA and call him up to be the closer. That's a big ask that let's slow down a little bit on that.
Right. No, I agree. But that's just that as a fan, Jared, I'm just saying it's what other guys are deserving of it,
Yeah, because that's like I said earlier, when I look at the current bullpen, am I really feeling good about anybody to take the ninth inning? Not necessarily. So, who knows? There's crazier things have happened. Maybe you grab the guy from AAA and it works. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I just feel like we're living deja vu. I really, it's like it's over and over. We're sitting there watching the game and we're like, when has it been this bad? When you talk about basically the worst team and almost as bad as the White Sox since the end of April, pretty much the same record. I said, this feels like September all over again, right? This feels like the end of last season. It's been a continuation of that. And the blip isn't that they've been bad this stretch. The blip is that they were good the stretch before the trade deadline and that they were good at the beginning of the season. Those are becoming the blips. That's the problem. And if the real team is somewhere in between there, then they're just not good enough.
Yeah, and I think that's the reality. That's the thing that I think, is maybe hard to accept because you see what this team looks like when they do really well. But those are, I agree. I think those are the exceptions. That's not what this team is truly. They're missing pieces. This is not a roster that's built to compete, not even in the regular season, let alone were they to somehow get a wild card spot. What they did in April, what they did, midsummer up to the trade deadline or so last year, that was the, maybe playing over their heads a little bit. And then they come back down to earth. Like this last 40-some game stretch, I don't think they're this bad necessarily, but it is kind of a stretch where it's like everything that can go wrong for them has gone wrong. And at some point, that's going to change. But how much better are they going to be when that changes? Not significantly, in my opinion.
Jared, we'll let you go because I know you want to get to your cigar on your way home. Do you want to tell us what you're firing up on the way home?
I've got it's just a cheap one because it's late at night. We're just getting through the ride home. I've got an old car that it's one of those where you kind of like say a prayer, cross your fingers when you start it up. So it's to help me relax as the old Mazda gets me home.
I don't think you need anything to make any hotter, like a cigar on the way. This might be a day to take off the cigar and just say, you know what, it's so hot out. I'm just going to turn on the AC and hope the car gets home.
That's probably the play tonight.
All right. Thanks, Jared. We appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks, Jared.
Right. Thanks, guys.
You know what sucks is that Ryan went to play softball tonight, and he didn't have to endure this loss with us.
Well, poor Jared had to go hit that locker room, and there is nothing worse than going into a clubhouse where they're scurrying out of there as fast as they can, and the ones that are left don't want to make eye contact with a single reporter. They don't. Even the guys that are stand-up guys don't want to talk after a game like that.
I'm not even really saying that I wanted him to go to be at the ballpark. I wanted him after softball to come here and do this show with us.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
He skipped out. He's at home.
There's
probably
Ryan
watching
jumping
us
in
right
to
now.
let everybody know I won who you got, just in case they forgot to talk about it. We didn't do who you got tonight,
I'm
Ryan.
glad he jumped
there
in.
There was no
and
who
he's
you got
hearing
tonight.
this. Yeah.
Now, Ryan, they did win the softball game, CHGO, and currently CHGO softball team, the most successful ball club in all of Chicago.
Back-to-back championships, or back-to-back championship we are going for this year.
Do we have another super chat?
Yeah, we have 3 more.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's get to those real quick.
Steven.
And then I want to tell you about my friends at Penrose because, listen, you got to cool off these days.
Steven for $5.
What do you got?
He says, it's time we seriously discuss firing Jed. I don't want to hear him talk. We already did that one. But thank you. I read it for you, half of it for you, Steven.
But some people wanted to hear it again.
Well, all right, too bad. Always stay sup, $2. One good thing happened, Uncle Howdy. #Wyatt6. Am I supposed to understand that?
I don't know what that means.
Thank you for the $2, brother.
Take your $2.
Steven, here's the one you sent most recently. $5. If I'm counsel, I would tell the Ricketts to fire Jed. If Jed stays, I am convinced he will leave the Cubs after 2025. You just talk about counsel? I mean, he's getting paid $8 million a year.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not leaving unless
he's not. They're not firing. They are not firing Craig Counsell, and he is not walking away from that contract.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I don't tell you what. I don't walk away from. I don't walk away from a Penrose seltzer. Penrose Brewing in Geneva, Illinois. Seltzups, hard seltzers with real fruit, led by Lemon Seltzup, a national gold medal winning hard seltzer with real lemons. They created our unique twist on a lemon shake-up with a house-made hard seltzer and pureed lemons for a throwback to warm weather and county fairs. Also available is the Lemon Tea-Up, a half-and-half inspired hard seltzer. Just released this year, the Transfusion Seltzup, inspired by a popular golf cocktail with grape, ginger, and lime. Penrose available at your local beverage retailer or visit Penrose's tap room right in Geneva. For more information, go to penrosebrewing.com or follow them on social media at Penrose Brewing. Man, the live chat has been going. We got 133 thumbs up, so if we could get one more of those, we'd like that on the way.
Skeeter in the chat says, guy on the right wants to go home. Is that you, Luke?
Ryan wants to hop onto the stream. He just asked me if that's okay, guys.
Is that because I called him out?
Let's let him wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm the guy on the
come
right.
on.
It depends on how you're looking at it. I guess
who's on the right?
I think I'm the one on the right. And you are correct. I do want to go home.
But
this game
not more than I do.
That's true. No one wants to go home faster than Luke Stuckmeyer.
I always like a fast game. One of the
here.
worst parts about that game was not only blowing the lead and the loss and all the misery that comes with it, it was that it was like 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours.
What was worse, the fact that it took that long or the fact that it was just a slow, painful death?
Becky says, Luke, Cody, I still love you guys. Thanks. We
At least
appreciate
we have
that.
At least Becky.
Gary doesn't want Ryan jumping on to protect Neris. Little counts.
Gary and Ryan, they have this whole thing about how Gary was upset that the Cubs put Neris into a game, used Merriweather in like the 7th inning or whatever instead of the 8th inning, and that's what led to him getting hurt or something.
I have noticed that Gary has not been saying put Miller in the closer role.
Yeah, it was like
because he was, of course,
it was
traded for his guy Slaughter.
The story is wild. I don't want to mess it all up, but it was one of the Discord things.
What's that old? What's the old movie where they all have little cameras and phones and they're in the dark and they're running around, and it's like a horror movie. Does anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? It was a horror movie that came out, but it was like everybody was running around with phones, and it was like made people nauseous. That's what it looks like we're going to get from Ryan here. He's like in some dark parking lot or something. From the toilet to some dark parking lot. Where's Ryan now?
It could be his bathroom. His home bathroom.
No, I'm in my car.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a car.
Come on, some of the old people. Tell me what movie I'm thinking of. Yeah, Ryan, what's up?
About, Luke.
You missed a great one.
Well,
you missed a real good one.
I was able to catch the last 3 innings or so. I caught the wisdom fly ball or pop up in the infield that fell somehow, and turned into a Ian Happ stealing who you got for me, and then the end of the game, which we don't have to speak about anymore. But I will hop in to say a couple things actually. I don't know if Cody was swearing at all today, but I did.
Words, Blair Witch Project. That is correct. Thank you, everybody.
I did on Saturday, as the kids carousel on the field pregame. They put them rope off a little area and kids could go on the field and try to get autographs and stuff.
Right.
As I was walking by, a couple of nice young ladies stopped me, said that they love our show, that they watch us all the time, and I don't know how I didn't catch their names or how old they were, but they look like elementary to middle school age kids. So Cody, it's not just Luke's kids that are watching the show anymore. We got some young fans out there.
I'm not changing. I apologize to all the kids that I'm going to be cursing at.
I thought Ryan was going to tell us he had the fastest time around the bases. He beat all the other kids. Beat them all. Ryan beat them right. He was booking around those bases. Tell us about the softball game, Ryan. It's the only thing positive we could have going tonight. We got 400 people that want to know what happened to the CHGO softball team tonight.
I don't remember the final score. I know it was a comfortable win. Maybe something like 20-12 maybe. There was a nice 8-run inning. I think it was in the 6th that kind of put the game away. We are kind of, we're adding some runs, giving up some runs. It was a close game, and we put up a nice, solid, crooked score and put the game away. You talk about suffering through this game. I suffered through I felt like I was Christopher Morel. Bad luck out there, man. I had maybe the best hit I've had all season. Nice line drive to the outfield, not a lot of air underneath it. And then I look up, and the left fielder doesn't move a muscle. It goes directly at him. He catches it, and I get the out, right? And then I tried. The first time all season, I've been pulling everything. I tried to go the opposite way, get a base hit, because I was 0 for 3 at this point. Second baseman makes a diving play and robs me of another base hit, flips it over to first. So I suffered through a cold day at the plate today. So it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but at least
we all
tried
suffered.
to do what I could do.
Yeah.
I tried to do what I could do on defense. I think I made up for it a little bit there. But yeah, I think it was 20-12, 20-13, something like that. Over WGN radio.
Gave up since I haven't been.
We must have had a lot of ringers there.
Yeah.
A lot of ringers there tonight, huh?
Hey,
just curiosity, what your thought is on this. If Tauchman is going to miss some time, groin injury, I would assume he's not playing tomorrow. Who do you want batting leadoff tomorrow?
I guess without knowing who's on the mound, I think that plays a factor. Off the top of my head, I don't know who's on the mound tomorrow for the Giants. I mean, Happ. I think Happ is just as far as the makeup, the profile of the hitter. Happ makes sense. I know you guys talked about that with Jared a few minutes ago, and I kind of agree with that. Nico has had time in the leadoff spot, but he hasn't looked great the last couple weeks. Morel, I just don't like him even when he was hitting 2, I thought maybe he was a little high. I like Saya there. I don't see him as a leadoff. I think at this point, if Tauchman is out of the order, I think PCA, as far as the on base goes, isn't necessarily where you want it to be to like make him the leadoff hitter. As much as like he could totally wreak havoc on the bases with a couple extra at bats potentially in the game. I don't know if the on base
tomorrow, by the way.
Logan Webb tomorrow. So that's a tough. Obviously a good pitcher. I think he was top 5 in Cy Young voting last year. So I don't know how he's doing this year, but good pitcher. I think just kind of running through everything, it would probably make the most sense to have Happ over there in the leadoff spot, and setting the table. I think he, especially like you said, if Tauchman is out, it would just make sense. It would make the most sense in my head, at least.
Do we have any more super chats, Sarah? One more super chat, Benjamin.
$5. How has nobody mentioned the atrocious strike call and Wisdom that was a foot outside, changed the entire complexion of the bottom of the 9th? I won't disagree, especially in that at bat. Call, yeah. I guess I'll be honest here. If they would have tied it or, somehow got 2 runs in the 9th inning, which is what Luke would have preferred that way, the game wouldn't be.
Yeah, I didn't need a tie. I didn't need a tie because they just would have lost the next inning anyway.
And in some ways, Luke was rooting for a loss there. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
In many ways, he was.
But all I know is that if they had won the game, I know that I still would have came over here, sat down, and been pissed off. So, this team can't win games in any fun way. Saturday was probably the most fun win they've had in the last month and a half. I can think of a random win against the Braves. They won like 7-1. That was an easy one. But every other game has been a close, tight-knit game except for the 2 I just mentioned, it feels like. And so, yeah. But you're not wrong. It was a terrible call. So, All
right. We did not do who you got tonight, Ryan, so there was no winner.
Did. I'll be adding it to the don't worry. Well, you don't do who you got any night. You refuse to participate.
Well, I'm not until they get back to 500, I will refuse to make a pick.
Yeah,
if I don't make 50% of the picks, I'll be taken out of the process.
Maybe I have to stop using the guys everyone hates the most and start taking guys that people are high on, and maybe that will change the vibes. Because last year I started taking guys who everyone hated, and they started winning games. So maybe I have to reverse it.
Yeah, maybe the magic ran out. The magic ran out.
So I'll just take Ian Happ tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, Ryan, go enjoy this celebration. You're probably going to need a shower or skip the shower. Just use Mando all over your body. That's what we've learned today in the show. You can 72 hours, you don't need a shower. You just take that Mando stick, you cover your spots, all of them.
Brother.
All of them. We've told entire body covered in Mando. You'll be fine. You don't need a shower. Just stay in the press box.
Yes.
Yeah, we call that a Mando shower. So.
That's right. You heard of Mandalorian? This stuff's similar, like steel on your body. I love the smell of it. It's really good.
Good stuff.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for checking in.
All right.
Good luck out there. Good work with the softball team.
All right. Can I list off the things I want for tomorrow?
Okay, give me your final thoughts, because then the next thing I want is to drive home.
I'll give you 3 things. We're at an hour as I speak this right now.
Okay.
All right. 3 things I want for tomorrow.
Cody's 3.
Ian Happ to lead off.
Okay, 1. I'm with you.
I want, if the Cubs actually lead in the 9th inning, I want someone to pitch other than Hector Neris.
Okay, I'm with
and
you on
even though
that,
he
too.
pitched tonight, he might not pitch tomorrow just because of the pitches, the amount of pitches he threw. So it might not matter anyway. If someone else does, it doesn't mean that Neris is taken out of the role. But that's what I want. And number 3, just find a way to win in a competent way. Those are the 3 things. I don't think I'm going to get at least 2 of them, but if they are going to turn this around, we're 5 games under 500. If they are actually going to turn this around, 2 of these 3 things need to happen, in my opinion. Ian Happ hitting leadoff isn't going to decide if they're going to start winning games or not. However, with Tauchman being out, he's my first choice. Honestly, if it was up to me, he would have been in leadoff weeks ago.
Okay.
After Bellinger and Seiya came back.
All right, move this along.
All right. But fucking use someone else in the 9th inning.
That's
and
2.
fucking just play better. I think that's the easiest way, the simplest way to put it is just to play better, man. They played well enough to win tonight. But
until they didn't.
The biggest glaring issue that they have had all season in many ways is the reason they lost. And as much as I disagree with Godfather about a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things, Godfather, you are correct about the closer. You were yelling and screaming in all caps in the YouTube chat in fucking December. We have given you all the credit for being right about that, okay? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really have a lot of hope. I'm not waving the white flag on the season. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and talk myself into bouncing back somehow, some way. Yeah, it's all I can do. So that's all I have.
Listen, all we can say is it's going to be hot tomorrow. Cover yourselves in Mando. Make sure you got plenty of Blue Moon and Seltz up with you. Stay hydrated. And thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. We had 400-some people pretty much the entire show. Great live YouTube chat. Lots of super chats. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for being our therapy. And we thank you for being therapy as well in the live YouTube chat. We have one more super chat just now. Last thing on the show. Benjamin says for $5, how has nobody mentioned the atrocious strikeout? We did that one.
Yeah, we did that one. We just read that one.
That's all right. That's right. Listen, we're going to cover it up with Mando, and it's all going to smell better tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. Until tomorrow. Pre-game show tomorrow, by the way. Look out for that. See you for pregame. Until then, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.